$1 trillion man, Dan Pena. Why you fucking on my live already? Hmm. You the one supposed to go on. How many of y'all niggas gave money for the global warming? For scientists to research and shit. It's funny as hell. It ain't shit. It wasn't shit but a script for the globe. Well, that's how I found the old boy. He had the same name as Daniel Pena, the one that was on the Kanika cake. The one, the manager in the hotel. That's how I found him. He $1 trillion motherfucker who got married at the pole. Who bust up the motherfucking global warming shit. Pena claims while he was at the Northpole, he asked Russian scientists, but he was at the Antarctic, but they keep saying Northpole. He asked Russian researchers, the scientists, the exact same question about global warming he had previously asked the science at the South Pole. See, he been to both poles. And he stated the scientists laughed off the concept of global warming in his signature blunt. See, he said he up there laughing at us. Wherever this ice at, both ends. He said it's a big joke. He said they joke. So I'm trying to figure out how the fuck we went to Scandinavia past the pole, and why we ain't hit the sheet of ice as we went up and supposed to come back down to the exact parallel around the 70 something parallel with Scandinavia sit, because we went from Italy. We went from Italy to Scandinavia for the ones that already know what I'm talking about. This Daniel Pink. I remember to drink vodkas and tell audience the scientists told him the firsthand that climate change claims is a load of shit. It is the scientists at the North Pole telling him this shit, that it's bullshit. He's $1 trillion nigga now. Dan Pena. You can look him up. You can look him up. There he is. See what I'm saying? Yes, the ice is constantly drifting. Because of the geographical North Pole is a fixed point on the globe over an open ocean. Or it is. So you just set a ice ball on the 90th parallel, right? Okay. I'm arguing back and forth with Gemini at this point, right? Because I'm saying, why the ice keep moving? If gravity, why don't hold still? It said it worked like the ship. Okay, I gave up. Boom. I gave up. I know it's frustrating when visualizing a spinning ball. Yeah, it was spinning at 1,008 miles per hour. All that, but these centrifugal force, and you tell me the ice sheet just rocking back and forth. And that's why they show us polar bears on one little piece of ice, like global warming, scaring niggas. They see the little friendly polar bear climb out the water and stand up on a piece of ice. And oh, the polar bear is not going to have anywhere to live, and we're in danger. The water levels is going to, and it's going to wash out the southern hemisphere. Oh God, global warming. Hmm. Global warming. Global warming. You talking about? We finish going busting this shit up so I can run it back when I get ready. I'm gonna show y'all towards the ceiling, and the earth it moves does in every direction. If you pull everything from the center, it pulls from every direction. But anyway, for gravity, this shit ain't real. I'm gonna just keep going. Gravity pulls the ice straight down. I said it pulls from every angle. Anyway, I argued with him for a while. You're exactly right. The gravity pulls from every single direction around the sphere. Towards the center, from the south, it pulls up, and from the equator, it pulls sideways, and from the North Pole, it pulls down. Goddamn right. Because it's a ball, top and bottom. And each parallel on top and bottom is a 90-degree parallel. Okay? Boom. Okay, you're exactly right. The Arctic behaves as just a massive flat ship. I was still arguing with his ass. I'm gonna do this again tomorrow. Russia operates. Russia in both parts of the ice. Besides Russia, the main, there's some other shit. We'll get into it. I want to go straight to these parallels and how the fuck He said across the ridges, he said from the one edge of the sea ice to the other, roughly 3,000 miles. He said the North Pole is 3,000 miles. And we didn't bump into it when we went from Scandinavia up past the pole. I told you we went past the pole. We went from Italy to Scandinavia. We went past the pole. Remember I told y'all we went past the pole now. We went past the pole. We went past the pole. So we should have went up, bumped into this ice, and couldn't get across. But we went past the pole, right? Okay. Now we're going to figure out why. Watch this. You're going to book a cruise to go from Italy to Scandinavia. I keep using Italy and Tuscany because that's the land they disappeared right next to that pole. See what I'm saying? I keep using that as an example because that's our X marks the spot. That's our circumference. Now watch this. Now watch this. Italy sits between the 36 and 47 parallel. Oh, it do? Okay. So if I wanted to go from the 36 to the... Okay, boom. So watch this. Yes, heading from Italy to Scandinavia means traveling north, moving up from the 43rd parallel to up around the 60th parallel. I said, shit, why? You're absolutely right. You can travel up to the 83rd parallel if you choose a specific Arctic route, but a straight line from Italy to Scandinavia does not go past the 71st parallel. Scandinavia is on the 71st parallel. Going all the way to the 83rd parallel, you have to take a deep into the Arctic, take it deep into the Arctic Ocean, past the top of Europe, requiring you to loop back down to south, loop back down to south. But he said we don't travel up and down now, but he said loop back down to south. Okay, because this how the boat's working on this globe. You can certainly navigate that way if you travel to Cape Morris, Jessup, and Greenland parallel north. You can travel. I asked him. I said, "Yeah, I can travel up to the 83rd parallel, following the latitude, and then travel east and west around the side, and go into the tip of Greenland, because Greenland is on the 83rd parallel, closest thing to the Arctic pole, to the North Pole, right?" And then he said that the compass still points towards north, but it don't point up. You got to point up, and north is up. What the fuck is you saying? Then traveling sideways along the 83rd parallel means you are flying or sailing a tight circle directly around the poles, because the rings get tighter and tighter as you go up these parallels on this sphere. Right, right. That route is completely impossible. Well, you would sail straight north from Italy through the Atlantic, climbing up the parallels, past Scandinavia. When you pass Scandinavia, you will reach the 83rd parallel. And once you hit the 83rd parallel up, you would hit it left to the west and follow the exact line of latitude sideways to cruise right into the north tip of Greenland. Y'all get this? Now watch this. Watch this. Yes, you will sail west along the 83rd parallel, which circles around right below the North Pole to reach Greenland. Right below the North Pole to reach Greenland. Watch this. Actually, the physical curve of the Earth stays the same. In a smooth sphere, it changes the grid system. Don't worry about that. North Pole circles at latitude smaller. Said the rings get smaller and tighter the further you go up. The rings get smaller and tighter the further you go up. This is why traveling sideways near the poles feel like you are turning in a much sharper circle. Huh? Now watch this. Yes, a compass still points north, aligning itself with Earth's geomagnetic field. So it still points north. So it points up. No, it don't point up. No, it doesn't point upward, because the Earth magnetic field lines runs to the parallel ground, drawing a needle horizontal across the surface. With the pole up, why it ain't pointing up? Because y'all lied and said it point towards that center where I was showing y'all today, towards that magnetic rock that was supposed to be 110 miles wide, that you can't never find nowhere. So this they new solution to the lies they done told the world. Now watch this. Watch how I bust that. Now I just told you, I said 3,000 miles of ice up that bitch. I just told y'all that. Now. I'm like, how the fuck we ain't bump into it when we went up over to Scandinavia? Now watch this now. The parallel is the circumference of the 90th parallel as miles as 0 miles, 0 kilometers because it is a single geometric point. Oh, it's a single geometric point. Okay, the 90th parallel north represent an exact geographical north pole. At the 90th parallel represent the south pole as the move away from the equator towards the pole. The circle in latitude and progress is smaller. Okay, we understand. Now let's go. The circumference of the 85th parallel north is approximately 2,174 miles. It's 2,174 miles, the circumference. The circumference of the 85th parallel is 2,000. So it's already, the 90th already bigger, just told you, it's 3,000 miles. It's already bigger than the 85th parallel because of the latitude streaks as they get closer to the pole, to the 85th. Okay, now let's pop his ass again. Watch this. Watch this. I said, what's the circumference of the 89th parallel? North is approximately 89 parallel north is approximately 435 miles. So this parallel and this circumference that wrap around this surface, this water, is 435 miles. So the 90th got to be smaller than that, right? Since the parallel sits in one. See the geographic north and circumference is shorter, roughly driving the distance to San Diego to Sacramento. So the 90th got to be smaller, right? Right, that's common sense, right? Negro knowledge. The rural Arctic sheet of ice does not have a single fixed circumference because the outer edge of it is drastically between winter and summer. Actually, the boundaries is 46,000 miles and 83,000 miles. The boundaries length stretches between 46,000 miles and 4,600 miles and 8,300 miles, depending on the season. You see this shit? You see this shit because it is a cap of an astrometric shifting mass floating packed ice rather than the perfect circle. They can't give it a circumference of a perfect circle, but it still should be smaller than the 90th parallel circumference. And the 90th parallel circumference should be smaller than the 89th parallel and the 85th parallel circumference. Right. Yes, that is correct, because the Earth is a sphere and the circumference of the parallel latitude shrinks as it gets closer and closer to the pole. So he just told you, let me show you what I just showed y'all. That's the circumference of the 89th parallel, 435 miles. The circumference of the 85th parallel is 2,174 miles, right? So how the fuck is the goddamn circumference of the ice that we looking for is goddamn where that bitch at? Don't get it, don't do me like that now, where it at? Let me go find it. Let me answer on me, goddamn. Let me go find it. Make sure I go get it. Now let's go back this way. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. Where's that shit at? Let's go get it. Okay, the 90th parallel. Okay. Then I asked, how now they go to miles. Boom. The circumference of the 85th parallel is 2,000. Where is that? I gotta go back and find that bitch. I got to bust him. I just had it up though. I gotta bust him for lies sake. Cause this is why I went live for the busting. This is what made me go on and do it, cause I had to bust him. I had to pop him. Why the fuck them motherfuckers just fucked me up like that? I just saw across the widest stretch in winter traveling from one edge of the sea ice to the other is roughly 3,000 miles, about 4,800 kilometers. I asked him what was the miles from one end of the ice to the other end of the ice within the parallel, within the 90th parallel, because he said it was 0, but it's 3,000 miles. How is 3,000 miles? How can it be 3,000 miles? When I'm showing you the circumference, let's go back down here. Let's show the circumference of the 89th, of the 85th. Let's show the circumference of the 85th and the motherfucking 89th. The 85th parallel circumference is 2,174 miles. So how the fuck is the sheet of ice at the North Pole 3,000 miles when the circumference of the 85th is only 2,000 miles, and it gets smaller and smaller as the rings go up, right? Right. Boom. Now here it is. The 89th is is the circumference of the ring is 435 miles. So how can the sheet of ice be 3,000 miles from one end of the ice to the other? How can it be? How could it be? Huh? The move of the sheet is affects significantly drastically between the winter and summer, between average boundary stretches between 4,600 miles and 833, between 4,600 miles and 8,300 miles, depending on the season. Depending on the season, it motherfucker says 8,000 miles. How could that fit into the circumference of the 90th parallel? How could the ice be larger than the parallels? How can the ice be larger than the parallels that's up under it if it gets smaller and smaller with this ball, with this sphere? How could it do that? It can't. It's impossible. Y'all remember, Unfair ain't never played with them because the Earth's sphere's circumference and parallel latitude lasts strength as you get closer and closer to the pole, eventually becoming to a single point at the 90th north and the 90th south, the 90th parallel north. How could the 90th parallel north be larger than the rings leading up to it, the parallels leading up to it? And here you go right here. Boom, let's look at it. There it is. That's the 90 right there. How could that have more miles in it than the circumference of the 80? And the 83rd is inside of that Arctic, so-called, that's supposed to be the Arctic Ocean. Huh? How could it be larger, y'all? Tell me. Okay, the truth don't need no help. It ain't gonna be and break no fold. But we gonna do this tomorrow again. You know what I'm talking about? That's a goddamn shame. But I move on the other shit as my mind circulates. Yo, 5,600, man. I'm on the ass for life. Huh? I said, boom, Melanation 3GD. Now watch me. Wow, 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 wow. Now watch me.